So I got a request to break down how to bronze. If you've ever been intimidated by bronzer, or if you've ever found that your bronzer looks streaky or muddy, I'm gonna show you a few steps that really simplify the process. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of contour instruction too, because they kind of do go hand in hand. Like I said, bronzer is really simple once you have a few key steps down. So right now I just have my foundation and concealer on. I'm gonna start with contouring. Now contouring is something we've seen tons of makeup artists and makeup creators do. And I think we have a tendency of kind of just following a map based on how we see people doing contour. So just a little breakdown of what contouring is and why we do it. For example, if I turn a little bit to the side here, you can see I naturally have this shadow here just under my cheekbone. And when I'm looking at you head on, you can see naturally I just have a little more shadow on the outer parts of my forehead. So the center of our face and the highest points of our face are gonna be what's highlighted. You can see the light is kind of bouncing off right here in the center of my forehead, right here at the high points of my cheeks, here where my chin projects, and of course the bridge of your nose. So really you just want to follow the natural shadows of your face and enhance them. I'm going in with a very light contour. This is not full glam. You've seen me do contour with a very deep contour product. This is by Persona in the shade Mojave. And the general rule with contour versus bronze is contour is going to be more cool tone because shadows tend to be more gray. And bronze is going to be warmer because you obviously want to warm up your face, give it that sun-kissed look. So again, following the natural shadows of my face, I'm just going to add a little bit right there. Another thing I have to mention is contour can create the illusion of a modified height or width. So if you have a larger forehead, you're obviously going to contour high up. I have a very average size forehead, so I'm going to leave it that way. But I do like to slim out my face more. So naturally, I'm going to focus the contour more out here as opposed to this way. So again, following this natural shadow here, I'm just gonna place a little contour right in that hollow. And something else contouring can do is create the illusion of a lifted outer lid. I don't go crazy with contour in the lower third of the face only because this tends to be much lighter than the rest of our body. So I don't like there to be a very dark contrast with your neck and your jawline. However, I'm going to show you a little trick. If you want to really chisel out your jawline, start right here and just do one little slash like that. So you can see I just connected the masseter with my neck. So this brush that I'm going to use to blend it out is the Precision Powder Brush from Ilia. I like that it's pointed so it can give me a more precise blend. So again, this being a very soft contour shade, I don't have to do too much. It's just really supporting the natural shadows of my face and just creating a little bit of an illusion. And anytime you're blending your contour under your cheek, be really sure you're not dragging it downward. So you just want to blend upward. Now I'm gonna look to the side, and what I'm gonna do here is just a little back and forth swipe motion. So what this is going to do is it's going to elongate this masseter area, something that shortens naturally as we age, creating a less defined jawline. Again, just one of those soft illusions. You don't want to completely try to reshape your face with a contour. It's just not going to happen. Work with what you have. And anytime you can do one of these soft illusions, just make sure it's very well blended. So now I have my soft contour blended out. It's nothing dramatic, just brought a little bit of soft definition to my face. Now on to bronzer. So the two products that I reach for the most when I'm bronzing are the Armani Luminous Silk Bronzing Powder and the Baked Bronzer from Dibs. More affordable, more luxury, love them both. I don't know if you can get a feel for that slight bit of glow to this powder. This one's roughly the same. You just have a very slight glow. And actually the reason I love the Dibs bronzer is it's a super fine powder that doesn't go on heavy. It's very blendable. I call it just a light veil over the skin. With this, you're gonna get a little more intensity, but no matter what bronzing product you're using, the brush is key. You absolutely do not wanna use a brush like this. This, though it's still fluffy, it is fairly dense. When you've got all these hairs sort of more tightly packed together, you're just gonna get a more concentrated line. With bronzer, you want a more broad area covered, if that makes sense. So if you look at the difference between these two brushes, this one is nice and fluffy, flared out. This one is more pointed. So never use anything densely packed. You want something more fanned out, more fluffy. So I'm gonna do a little bit with both of these. First, going into the Armani, I'm just going to pack up my brush. And with bronzer, really keep a very flexible wrist, a very light hand. So I usually start, you see I'm barely letting those brush hairs touch my face. Starting out here at the upper left corner of my face, just starting to warm up my face. Contour areas and bronzer areas are roughly going to be the same. The only difference is with contour, it's more concentrated. With bronzer, you're covering more area, you're blending out more. Just building some warmth to the face. Again, roughly the same area as the contour, but you can see I'm letting my brush kind of travel a little further out. You want to keep it light and just build it up to your preference. So let's pause here and check in. You can see I've still maintained, for the most part, the brightness in the center of my face, and the perimeter of my face has warmed up. It not only gave my face more shape, more definition, but it just brings more life to the face. And now with the Dibs Baked Bronzer, I have to say this one is my favorite. It just has such a subtle glowy finish. You know we love to glow around here. So with this, again, same thing, really light wrist. Every time I wear this product, I get so many compliments on my skin and people can't figure out what it is. Like, what is that? Your skin is so glowy. And I always do blush after bronzer. The reason for that is blush is usually lighter than your bronzer shade. So it's a good chance to blend with the bronzer and just create a very seamlessly blended look. So this is how it all comes together, a softly contoured and bronzed face. You notice I didn't put too much bronzer in the lower third of my face, maybe just a little at the tip of my chin, but you want the progression from your face to like your shoulders to be as natural as possible. Bronzer is really simple. It's just a couple of key things that'll make the difference, like using a fluffy brush as opposed to a densely packed brush. As long as you remember to keep the center of your face bright and the perimeter of your face bronzed, you'll be good.